in terms of corruption, Nigeria has a reputation, as you understand very well, for very massive corruption.
On Nigeria, just wanted to ask you, do you envisage US boots on the ground?
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Okay, so Donald Trump has just ordered the Department of War to prepare for possible military action in Nigeria. In a recent post, he claimed that there is an ongoing mass slaughter of Christians in the country by radical Islamists and said that if this continues, quote, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria, and they may very well go in there, he calls it a now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. And then he concluded all of that in all caps, warning the Nigerian government better move fast. Now, Nigeria's president Tinubu, he previously responded saying that Trump has basically got it all wrong about the situation in his country. Tinubu said, quote, there are security challenges which affect citizens across faiths and regions. So he's not saying that it's specifically isolated to Christians. And then he said that his government has been carrying out consistent and sincere efforts to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians. Bro, even Nicki Minaj has got involved in this situation, thanking Trump and his team for taking the situation in Nigeria seriously, and then said that numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror and that it's dangerous to pretend that we don't notice. But the question that you're probably wondering is what Trump is saying true? And the answer is yes. Partly, because there is some nuance to it. So according to the United Nations, independent analysis, and a 2021 bipartisan, by the way, report by the US Commission on International Religious Freedoms, thousands of Christians have been targeted and killed. But the nuance is so have Muslims, and so have those who are not religious at all. You see, Nigeria's population, which is roughly 220 million, they are almost equally split between Muslims and Christians. And the group which these reports cite the most often, which are carrying out these attacks, is called Boko Haram. That doesn't mean they're the only ones, but the most cited. Now, for those unfamiliar, it's essentially a militant jihadist organization that have an ultimate goal of establishing an Islamic state under Sharia law. And they have targeted Christians for their faith in churches, places of worship, but they've also targeted Muslims for, quote, not being Muslim enough. They've also targeted police, military, government. And in fact, according to the United Nations, they have killed more than 40,000 people and displaced more than 2 million since 2009. And the big part that has kind of pissed the Nigerian president off, the country, Nigeria, is now being placed alongside North Korea, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Pakistan, and China as part of this list of particular concern due to violations against religious freedom. But the question that a lot of people are asking is, does this, what Donald Trump has done, actually change anything? And the answer is, we don't know. But today, a lot of people are at least speaking about it. So we'll see what happens next.
Honestly speaking, we cannot categorically say that what Donald Trump is coming to do will benefit the citizens. But at the same time, the insecurity in Nigeria is on another level.
Please understand that anytime Trump says that he is protecting Christianity, what that is really code for is he's protecting white supremacy. That's what he really is saying. Because right now he is threatening war with Nigeria, saying that the Christians are under threat by Islamist terror, and that the U.S. might have to step in, guns a-blazing. But let's talk about what's really going on behind that religious Christianity smokescreen, okay? Because not even a week ago, Trump was threatening Venezuela. And you know what both of these countries have in common? Massive oil reserves. And just recently, Nigeria put a 15% tariff on imported petroleum. Which means Western oil giants like Exxon, Chevron, and Shell can't just swoop in and dominate the market anymore. So now suddenly Christianity is in danger. Please. When he says Christianity, he does not mean freedom of religion. He means white Christian nationalism. The very same ideology that was weaponized and used to justify colonization, slavery, and invasion of Africa and the Americas under guise of missionary work. So let's be very clear. So this is not about saving Christians. This is about saving and maintaining Western control. It is quite literally about punishing black and brown nations that dare to control their own resources. It's about keeping the global south under the thumb of white capitalist power and using religion as the moral excuse to justify doing it. Because if this was really about human rights and religious freedom, why is he not threatening action against countries where Muslims, Jews, and indigenous people are being threatened? Why just the oil-rich ones? So let's be very clear. Trump is not spreading faith. He's spreading white dominance. And Nigeria is just the next target on the altar of white Christian nationalism. White Christian imperialism has always been the game plan. They're simply using Christianity as their justifier the same way they always have. Don't fall for the okie doke.
Even if this was Trump's intention, why has Nigeria become a prey? That means that they're not doing it on their own for another country to start targeting them, to help them realize what they have. Now let's see what the Nigerian president has to say.
We have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side. And I've just signed off on a huge mechanization, program that every region we have a mechanized center for Greek mechanization and have trainees and all of that. That is our path to food sovereignty, food security. You remove hunger from poverty, you have defeated poverty. All I can promise you is where we started and where we're going. And your children's education, the path to Nigerian recovery, we are on it. Go home, be assured. Don't let anybody threaten you of any uncertainty. We are certain we are going to succeed. That's what we believe in. The honesty in Buhari, what we inherited from him, is total commitment to justice, transparency, and success. That's all. And you won't have anything less than that. You will have joy at the end of this journey. And we will jointly put dime, nickel, kobo, toro together. We will build a Buhari house. That house will be a house of joy and prosperity.
Amen. I pray that that house will be a house of joy and prosperity, just as the president has spoken.
We have breaking news at this hour. Donald Trump has ordered the Department of Defense to prepare for war in Nigeria, saying that the United States may soon go in, quote, guns a-blazing. Donald Trump has been very upset about anti-Christian bias in Nigeria. In a New Truth Social post, Trump writes that he has ordered his Department of Defense to prepare for action in Nigeria. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the United States of America will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. Warning the Nigerian government better move fast. So we may have possible war in the southern Caribbean, in Venezuela, along with possible war now in Africa. And let me just tell you something. The anti-war president is about to start not one, but two wars with the United States military involved.
War? I don't think war is the best route in this situation. Things can be sorted out other ways apart from true war.
Is Trump really trying to play in our faces with this strategic messaging about Nigeria? So he just called Nigeria a country of particular concern because, in his words, Christians are being slaughtered. And he is talking about the 3,100 Christians who've sadly been killed, right? But we need to slow that right down, because when you use faith like that and you ignore the Muslims dying too, it starts to feel like their lives don't count. And more than that, it hides what's actually driving the violence, because do you really think that this is about religion? Anyway, I need you guys to stick with me so you can see what's actually going on here, right? It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China. And it's not just what's underground, is it? It's the land. The middle belt grows the food that feeds the nation, fertile, rain-fed, high yield. And guess where the most violence hits? Right there. And I need to clarify, right? People aren't being killed just because they're Christian. They're being killed because they're in the way. And many of them happen to be Christian because that's what it dominates that area, right? So this isn't just about faith. It's about land control, food and power. That same zone full of ginger farms, mineral rich soil, and foreign players are circling. The Gates Foundation invested in smallholder farming, agri-tech, yield targets. This is not a conspiracy, right? This is public record. But when the West enters through aid, it rarely ever stops at support. And some will say that these killers don't move alone, right? They're backed, tolerated, or armed by whoever's buying access. Local counterparts, foreign deals, the highest bidder. So when you hear Christian persecution, ask what's really at stake and how close the nearest air path is, right? Because China's already in, right? Ports, refineries, defense deals, ammunition factories. And now Trump wants Congress to get involved. That's not just concern. That's positioning. Because when America talks about saving Christians overseas, come on, man, is this really about faith? It looks like it might be a green light. It moves money, activates voters, justifies presence. And while that's happening, he's also saying, you know what? Maybe we should save Nigeria's best talent and make them come over and move to America. So which is it? Are you worried about the people dying? Or are you more concerned about scouting the ones who survive? That's not rescue, that's resource control. So what's the play? If I'm Nigeria, I tighten internal defense, limit foreign boots. If I'm a citizen, start asking who's funding the next rescue mission. This isn't about God, is it? What is it about? Nigeria's rise, the deals, the land, the leverage. Have they made it too powerful to ignore? Anyway, let's talk.
It's quite unfortunate that the insecurity in Nigeria and the way things are being managed in Nigeria is what's causing all this problem. But for now, no one can say with 100% certainty what Trump has in mind for Nigerians. Although he wants to invade, but at the same time, according to what he said, it's because of insecurity that is causing all these talks. If Nigeria was a secure place to stay in, although nowhere is secure in the world, but if Nigeria was secure to an extent, I believe this will not be happening. So for now, we'll just wait and see how everything goes. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe now and turn on bell notification so that I don't miss out on my next video. That being said, I will see you in the next one.